What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome to the first edition of Vikings Table Talk. My name is Gabe Henderson, and we're going to use this platform and this table to bring you closer to what makes up this Minnesota Vikings locker room and this Minnesota Vikings culture. And joining me today is Vikings General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, Vikings linebacker Brian Asamoah, and Vikings linebacker William Kwenkeu. And fellas, the table is set with some Western African dishes. We got some jollof rice. We got it all. But when you look at the food and you think about the flags behind us that represent this table, what stories come to mind for you?
It's just something that you don't see every day, being immersed within the American culture. So having the time taken to celebrate, to be around familiar faces, as many differences that Ghana have from Cameroon or America has from somewhere, we have so many similarities and probably have common stories that we can, like the name of jollof, like in Cameroon, is not called jollof, it's like risotto, but it's the same thing. So it's just like a moment to just appreciate being around each other. So, that's really what it is.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity, honestly. Coming here, being able to talk to one another about each other's culture. There's many times in practice where I'm talking to Will, just in like a different language. He's like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "This is what this means." Okay. And then he'll just start. and then the next day we'll say, different things to each other. So it's definitely cool. But seeing this food just reminds me of like how much I miss my mom, being all the way in Minnesota, and she's from Ohio. So, but no, it's a wonderful opportunity and it's fun. So I'm excited.
Yeah, for me, I would say it's similar. I see the food and I think of my family. I've said it many times. It's not about jollof or anything. It's about the community. It's about me sitting at a table with my mom, my dad. May rest in peace, my brother, sister, and all those great memories. But also, I think it's great because man, you think about the journey. You look at those two flags, and you grow up in this country. I don't know if you guys had a similar dynamic growing up, but you just want to be normal. You just want to fit in. And then as you kind of grow up, you're just so proud of all the different circumstances that made you who you are and how you got there. And you have such an appreciation for not only your culture, but other people's cultures. And I know that I could have been born in Cameroon and it would have been great because I see Will across from me and I see a great dude and all that. And so it's just great the connection we can have for people that were from the same place, but other people that were from different places. And I love being in an environment like this where we can all share that.
What makes you proud? I'll start with you, Will. What makes you proud to be from Cameroon?
I mean, why wouldn't I be proud to be from Cameroon? It's just like Cameroon people are just proud in general. Like from the way we walk, the dances, the way we carry ourselves, is Cameroon against the world. Cameroon against Africa, though. And like from soccer, just competing and just like the indomitable line is our motto. And so just being proud, being from a rich culture, which. Growing up there for 14 years has led into what my identity is today, and also being here for as many years that I've been here. So, like I'm just proud because it's my root, and not a lot of people have the opportunity or like the chance to know where that is. So I'm thankful for that. But I'm just being proud, just having that self of identity, having like a source that I can always tap into.
I'm going to ask you the same question, and when I ask you, I'm going to take a bite of this food. So, what makes you proud to be Ghanaian?
I think it's the culture, just knowing where you're from. From just a tradition aspect, it's just different. And I was there for a year, and just embracing that rich culture that we have, knowing that you're from Africa, knowing this happened in the 1900s, this happened in the 1800s, just really understanding more about your country, and I think that was the biggest thing for me, and that's why I'm just so happy to express it, because I mean, like, being African in general is really such a blessing, and being able to embrace it here in the National Football League is just been really a cool journey for me.
We were talking before. I feel like every single Sunday, your game day fit has some type of Ghanaian immersion with the Minnesota Vikings. Like the couple of weeks ago, you had the purple.
Yeah.
I'll pose this to the group. How have you been able to combine your culture with being in the NFL with the Vikings?
So definitely with my pregame fits, I ordered a bunch of different colors of just my traditions, African wear, and I got it from a company called Boadi. He's in Africa. He ships real fast.
How fast?
It's like 3 days. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how he does it, but like but it all probably goes into the shipping and handling I got to pay for. So, but nah, he gets it to me quick. But I love, you know, just his material. It all just shows, you know, my culture and what we wear back home to special events. And to me, you know, every Sunday is a special event. So that's why I've been kind of embracing that. And then obviously on the game day, I'm wearing my little headband, and I got more stuff cooking for when it gets cold. So, yeah.
So far, I haven't had the opportunity yet to, you know, but I have it. Just know I have it in there. But I haven't really been thinking about how I'm putting Cameroon right there. It's more so that just knowing from my last name that I'm here, like I'm in the NFL, like knowing that there are people that look at me, and I just heard my accent just now. But there are people who look at me who I may not know, but are inspired by just seeing me, just seeing Cameroon here in Minnesota, seeing Ghana and Minnesota, just inspired and seeing, oh, if he's here, I can make it there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just having that thought in mind. And then NFL-wide, just representing, being here, just my presence, being in the building, being in the NFL, carrying myself the way that I'm carrying myself, and, you know, sharing and exchanging.
Kwesi, I know you can't wear pads, so like, how do you express yourself and your culture through, I guess, your game day fits?
I just gotta say, that was the longest some Africans were at a table before somebody ate with their hands. I want to point that out. He gave me the heads up.
It was the meat pie. I mean, it's time.
It's time. Yeah, I try and do it in small ways. You know, whether it's a cufflink or it's, you know, I wear a necklace around my neck all the time with a coin. I'm from Ghana. You know, I wear bracelets all the time with the flag on it as well. And those are just, again, like I talked about earlier, it's just that little pride you have every day. You know, when I was a kid, again, you just kind of get thrown into this country, and your parents are immigrants, and you're trying to figure it all out, and you're not always so proud to be with a name like my name, or looks the way I look. And then one day it just clicks. And it's this beautiful, like, recognition and this loving your time and space with your family and how you got here. And I try and celebrate that every day in a little way. And I love this country. I love the life that my parents have made from there. I'm so proud of all the circumstances that made me. I look at that flag and I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps when I hear the national anthem too, but like there's a certain pride that comes with looking at that and all the people that, you know, feel that way. And so, you know, that's kind of how I try and do it in the little ways. But you don't let them. One day, hook me up with your guy. We'll get it worked out. But I think the GM. I'm trying to be a background figure. The show is about these guys, these players, these coaches, and I'll let them handle that stuff.
I hear that. I hear you loud and clear. I feel like I've told all of you a little bit. Growing up, having Ghanaian roots myself, we had Fufu Fridays. So every Friday we would go to my godparents' house. They make some fufu with some soup, and we would just dig in. But for you guys, you know, when you go home or when you had your favorite dish, yeah, it is good, right? What were some, I guess, some big things that really stood out to you as far as food that kind of made you feel like you were at home?
I think for me it was jollof rice, and it's a thing called a mutual too. It's like a rice ball, and I mean it's in some soup that tastes really good with all types of, like, you know, chicken, beef, all types of stuff. So it was really those two things. Wasn't really a fufu guy because it was so heavy, and you know you can't eat fufu and go play a game. So that was the thing for me, and you know, I was just raised on just eating so much jollof rice. You know, I was eating it almost 3 times a day because of, like, it was just so good, and you want to eat it. Like, that's what you want for breakfast, jollof rice. You know, I call my mom, you know, to this day, Mom, can you please send me some jollof rice? Like, I miss it. And, you know, that's kind of like my thing, so.
That's pretty dope. It's similar for me. Even, like, back in college, like, every time I go home or my mom is coming to visit, she always bringing some, like, African food from Cameroon. So it's like she's always saying, no, you eating too much American food. You need to, I'm like, okay. So she's coming in town, and, like, it's the same thing. We're doing the jollof coming up. So it was like, hey, it's always African food. Like, so I've been fortunate and blessed. Like, at home, it's always been food from Cameroon. Like, it's a constant reminder, so I never have to really think about it till, like, I'm going home, hey, Mom, I already know what's going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
It's kind of funny that you said that, too, because, like, you know, in college, like, my mom would come home. If she's coming to watch a game, she's making jollof rice, and, like, my teammates would be like, hey, like, your mom making that food today? Like, BA, come on. Ask your mom to make that rice again. So, yeah, that was kind of for me.
I was lucky, man. I had that. My mom had this red cooler. We probably had it in our family for 30 years. And whether I was at Princeton or lived in New York City, she showed up with that red cooler with plastic bags full of all my favorite foods, right? Just coming in with this thing, and my friends would be looking at it. Hey, the freezer's mine. The freezer's mine for a while, boys. But no, it's like, I don't know, you become Super Mario when you eat it. It's just something that powers you up a great way. But, you know, it's just an appreciation of your culture, and that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, I had to be selfish. Like when I told my teammate, I'm like, okay, this is your food. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I would try to have some like, this is what I'm gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sharing this one with y'all. But yeah, it was just, yeah.
I get it, man. And I guess I was doing some research, and 1996, I believe his name was Roman Oben. He was the first Cameroon-born player in the NFL. Then you fast forward to 1999, Ebenezer Ekuban, first ever Ghanaian-born football player to play in the NFL. Now you fast forward to now, there's over 100 players from either from Africa or first-generation African that are in the NFL. How encouraging is that for you guys to see that growth? It's
special. I think it just speaks to the evolution of the game, but also just, you know, our assimilation to this country and appreciating all the different things that it has to offer. And I don't know, there's beauty to football, and I think it attracts certain people, and it's great that our country's been one of the people that's involved in it.
I think it starts with, the first person that did it, and then, someone wanting to say like, hey, I want to be like him, and then just that domino effect that has just kept going on and on and on and on. And, for that, it just have created like a cycle. And, now I'm in that cycle, hopefully giving the next, young Ghanaian hope that, they can do it too because they saw me do it. So that's kind of like the thing for me. And, kind of like how I got into the sport too.
Yeah, just opening doors, like, in Africa, people don't know about American football.
Yeah,
like
that's how they say it,
I was born in Africa. I didn't learn about American football till I came here. Right, like what is that? Is that rugby? Like, you know what I'm saying? Rugby with shoulder pads, like no. So it's just like it's bringing awareness to it, on a grand scheme of things, but also like this sport that exists that not a lot of people may not know about outside of the U.S. So that's why NFL Africa has done a great job in bringing awareness to it, and then highlighting the players that are in it, and then bringing up those who open doors that we may not even have known, like, what I'm saying, who has made this happen for me, and then I know who, who's I'm making it happen for. So, like BA said, that chain and that same system.
I'm gonna end it with this because I was listening to this TED Talk, and it talks about how, basically you have one single story about someone overseas or someone in Africa, but it's not who or what Africa stands for. So for you guys, how would you describe your country in one word and why?
I would say fortitude. Africa or just Ghana itself, we've been through a lot, just from world problems, governmental problems with just what's going on, in the community. So we've been able to embrace all those problems and find ways to just continue moving forward, and that's why I say fortitude, because we have that ability to sustain anything that's going on in our life and continue moving forward. So that's how I kind of explain it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. I would say resilient, like somewhere along the line with us Ghana, with Cameroon, with our rich and strong history and how we've came to be Cameroon. From the colonial time, how many times he's been colonized, to within the country, how you have English and French-speaking parts of it, but it's still being one country with 262 different tribes with different languages, like just such a rich culture filled with resilient and proud people who, despite circumstances of life, find joy in the smallest moment, the smallest thing in life, who are consistently working to move from surviving to thriving and just thriving in any environment, really. So resilient is a word that really touches me.
I think they both chose great words. I'm gonna go the different side, but I'm gonna choose joy. And the reason I choose joy is when I think of Ghana, and I think of my parents dancing the high life, right? Growing up, just the parties, I think of even the way we celebrate people who pass on. We celebrate. we dance, we pour libations, we do things like that. I think of my uncles sitting around cutting up, chale this, chale that, laughing, right? So when I think of it, I think of joy. And obviously those other things but to me, what's so special about the kinship and when I think about Ghana and my family, I think of joy.
Well, it's been a joy having the three of you on, talking culture, talking all things necessary in order to continue to bring this world together. I'm so happy that sports is, a vehicle to help push the culture forward. So I appreciate you guys and looking forward to the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you for having us.
I could really tear this up.
I was just waiting. Like,
This is really good.
Right?
yeah, the spicy to it too.